Hello again, and welcome to episode 26 of Just Another Magic Podcast. I am Jason, one of your hosts, and with me this week is someone else. So who are you?
Me? I am better known as Greystone. Do you want me to do my full intro?
That's fine. We're right first off.
So you want my full intro?
Yes.
Okay.
That works.
Simple answers, straightforward. Alright, well, most people would probably know me as Greystone on MTGO. I'm also on Twitter at Master Greystone.
You should have put that in the show notes, so I could have sent that off. I'll fix that in a moment.
No problem. You do that. I'll keep talking. And so, a little brief history on me. I've been playing since Revised, on and off, until last year when my fiance encouraged me to actually get heavier into it. Then in, January, she lost her job. So I resorted to jumping onto MTGO to get my magic fix. And from there, I found the Pauper format. After that, I started writing for MTGO Strat, producing videos, and I am now their site editor.
No, I didn't even know half of that. That's not what you sent to me, but that's fine.
I'm glad that's fine.
Alright, so topics for today, since I decided to write show notes before the show instead of after. First up, you wanted to talk about the pre-release.
Oh, my pre-release. I went down to my local game shop, Burton's Comics, and I really should stop shuffling my cards. And when it came time to picking out the decks, I chose Path of Ambition, primarily because I saw, of all of the pre-release promo cards, the Abhorrent Overlord screamed the best.
Really? I liked the white promo card the best, as it seemed the most powerful, just being a 5-mana 4/4 with first strike and flying, and also having the bestow.
Admittedly, I did actually get beat by that card in one match.
I did not get beat by that card, or any card for that matter, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to last week's episode.
No, I did. You and not losing a single match.
I'm talking to the viewers, not you. I didn't even know you listened to last week's episode, but that's always nice when people listen.
Of course I did. Alright, so, like I said, I got my Path of Ambition, opened it up, got my Abhorrent Overlord. In my mono, or dedicated black pack, I got the Whip of Erebos. For those listening at home, that's the black legendary enchantment artifact, 2 colorless, 2 black. Creatures you control have lifelink, which, honestly, when that hits the field, the entire game changes. I did not have a single match where I got to play that where I did not win. The other ability of the card is 2 colorless, 2 black, tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Before that, it gets exiled anyways. So I already lucked out with the Overlord for having, at least on my way to having a nice devotion count. After that, opened up a second whip, which I did not put into my deck. A Hero's Downfall, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Pythonia the Cruel, the 6/4 mythic Gorgon creature for 6 with Death Touch, and 3 that when it becomes monstrous, you destroy all non-Gorgon creatures. So out of my 6 cards in my...
I guess you do feel awkward here. On this show, we let people just ramble on, and I will listen and then tell you you're wrong if there's a need to.
Oh, feel free to tell me I'm wrong. I'll argue until I'm blue in the face to prove you wrong.
It's probably true.
Alright, so of all my sealed, all my boosters in the sealed, that's pretty much what I opened that was really big. After that, I had 2 Grey Merchants, the Keepsake Gorgon, and a couple Scourge Marks, a couple Lash the Whips. I pretty much went all black, except I splashed blue for Thassa's Bounty.
And you were telling me yesterday that you hated Thassa's Bounty, so that's interesting.
I did. Well, again, this is the pre-release, which is 2 weeks ago. I'll get to why I don't like Thassa's Bounty, because that came up in my 4th match. Because my first match took on a Gruul build. I don't really remember much about the match other than I cleaned him out 2-0, and I got to drop down the Abhorrent Overlord with about, I think it was 4 Harpy tokens. The next match I took on, was it Naya? And my opponent in the final match where I actually killed him, because we went to 3, because he just clocked me the first round. He did not take into account Monstrosity being able to be triggered as an instant. So, you know the legendary red-white first strike trample rare guy?
Annex and Siamede?
That one. He attacked into me with that, and I used, what was it? The Uncommon Gorgon, the Keepsake Gorgon, turned it monstrous, and managed to clear out his board and take out that one at the same time. He was not happy about that. My third match, I took on a really, really fast Theros deck that, fortunately, he got the Celestial Arcana, and there was nothing I could do to stop him. Then I went into my fourth match, where I was facing off against America. I went into I lost the first match. Then I rethought about my Thassa's Bounties, which I had never had occasion to actually play through the whole pre-release. And I ditched one out and brought in Voyage's End, which I probably should have had from the beginning. And that key card actually helped me win both of my next matches to bring me to a 3-1 record, and I got 4th place overall.
3-1 record. I must say, usually that's acceptable by me, but...
Yeah, you got 4-0. We all heard it.
I'm just impressed at the 0 games dropped. Apparently the shuffler was on my side, which I guess could be said that I was on my side when I shuffled. I'm never excited to 4-0 a tournament, but not losing a game was what got me excited. But that deck seems really good, and I understand that the loss probably was due to mana issues.
Actually, yep. Against the Boros deck. First match, I mulliganed to 5. Everything about that match was actually perfect and as good as it could be, but he was able to outrace me, and I was not able to get my life gain engine online. And then the second match, I got stuck on 3 mana.
That can be a problem.
Yep. So, hail to the shuffler.
Well, I mean, if you're blaming the shuffler and you're blaming it for an in-real-life tournament, you're just blaming yourself, so...
I'm cool with that.
Alright, so is that all you wanted to say about the pre-release? You didn't list your deck list, but that's fine. Just how many lands? This is what I've been asking everyone. How many lands did you play?
17.
17, alright. I played 18, and I've been trying to play 18.
Yeah, well, I have to kind of argue with your previous co-host and his love for Traveler's Amulet.
I agree. I don't think it's a good card.
You're better off just playing another land.
You're better off playing another land in the scenario that you're 2 colors. If you're 3 colors, Traveler's Amulet is fine.
If you're going 3 colors, in my opinion, you're probably spreading yourself a little thin. Like I said, I took on Naya and America, and
won both matches.
Yeah, it didn't serve them well at all.
Exactly. All right. So, any others talk about the pre-release, or we move into the standard impact of Theros?
We can move into standard impact.
Has it had any impact? I haven't been paying any attention. I just pulled up MTG Goldfish, so this is the site that I use a lot for people like me who like to speculate and complain about how expensive cards are, and what most people would use for the metagame on Magic Online. And I know you watched a bit of the SCG Open, unlike myself, because I don't care to watch that.
Yeah, SCG Cleveland. Actually, if you wanted to do a bit on the finance, go on a ramble. I left my show notes from that in the other room.
We're going to be going on a ramble of the finance in a bit, so just wait for that, folks.
Never mind, I ran and grabbed them.
All right. I stalled for time for long enough.
So what? Yeah, it was SCG Cleveland. this weekend.
That was apparently a tournament where people played it.
Yeah. I noted. I was watching it at work, which I shouldn't have been, but hey, no one at work listens to this, so I won't get in trouble.
Well, as far as you know, no one at work listens. They might.
If they do, they've been holding out on me. I watched. One thing I saw was in round 4. It was Witten versus Musser. They were both 3-0. One was black, white, green junk. The other was a bug speaker deck.
Bug speaker? So is that Prime Speaker Zagana plus Thragtusk draw a million cards?
Well, no Thragtusk anymore. He's gone.
Thragtusk wasn't in M14?
Nope.
That would explain why I haven't opened any yet in draft.
Yeah,
wow.
No, they got rid of him.
Oh, I'm happy. I hated that card.
A lot of people did.
See, I don't pay attention to Standard, and I think the listeners know that. So.
All right, well, from this match that I got... Sorry?
I will analyze the metagame for you, but I'll just tell you that the format's garbage.
All right, so do you want to know what cards actually made an impact?
Not particularly, but I think the listeners do.
All right, well, I'll completely ignore you and talk to the listeners then. Hey,
exactly.
Listeners! So yeah, if any of you were watching, you probably noticed that when Witten got his Sphinx down, so that's the new Sphinx in Theros that, was it 3/5, discard a card, make it hexproof, and whenever it attacks, scry 3. As soon as he got that down, the entire game changed. As scrying 3, he just completely milled through his deck to get everything he needed to keep going. I also found he was heavily using the scry lands.
That's interesting. I'm not a really big fan of the scry lands.
I'm thinking for decks that are looking to go mid to late game, they're going to probably come in very handy. But I also found in that match, because it was, again, black, blue, green versus black, white, green, both players were running Hero's Downfall quite heavily.
So that's the strictly better murder, right?
Yep, that's destroy target creature or planeswalker. So that's at least one card that is going to have an immediate impact on Standard.
To me, that's odd, because murder never saw any play in the format.
No, not a lot of it, but when you can not have to splash into red for Dreadbore, the Terminate, that hits planeswalkers, then it does give it a little bit of value.
I guess I can agree to that. There are some pretty powerful planeswalkers, namely Jace. 4-mana Jace, not Mind Sculptor, though.
Oh, yeah, you got 4-mana Jace. Elspeth. Elspeth is a beast of a planeswalker. Who else? Well, we were talking about Garruk earlier. You don't particularly like him, but going at, what is he at, 35 now?
Garruk is 11 on Magic Online. Let me just pull up the SCG price.
He might have dropped then, because I looked at him yesterday. All right, well, if you're looking that up, let's see what other planeswalkers I can list. Domri?
Garruk is 15 on Star City Games and 12 on Magic Online.
Okay. What about Domri Raid?
Domri is 30 out of stock on Star City, and Domri is 21 on Magic Online. So because it's out of stock on Star City, I think it could hit 35. This is not the finance portion of the show, though. We'll get into that in a minute. Well, more than a minute, but...
I think more than enough reason why you can pay down your $5 for a Hero's Downfall.
Domri doesn't do too much, in my opinion. I can get into a Domri rant, but I don't think the listeners want to hear that again. We did that during Gate Crash.
I've had a Domri in a Naya deck, and it's a workhorse when it gets out. But we'll save a Domri rant for later.
For another show. The viewers heard it earlier this year, and I don't think they want to hear it again.
All right, and so I also got to catch round 5, where it was McDaniel versus Gerhardt, black-green rock versus green-white aggro. Your favorite?
My favorite? I don't like either of those decks.
I figured you did green-white in the pre-release, so...
No, I just like green-white because my smiters go up in price.
Alright, so yeah, while I was watching that, Gerhardt got McDaniel down to 14 life before Daniel dropped the Whip of Erebos. And
That's
as soon
a
as
card that went up in price a lot. on
And it's
Magic
also
Online.
available in the it's available in the pre-con too.
It is? Oh, wow.
That and the Abhorrent Overlord are both in the black-blue pre-con.
I hope you're not suggesting Abhorrent Overlord is standard playable.
I'd play it if I had the whip.
Interesting.
Well, with the whip, you've got the whole Unearth ability. I can drop that down, haste it, and bring a bunch of Harpy tokens into play. That's at least 4 Harpy tokens and 6 haste in the air for 4 mana.
It's true. It's definitely true. I guess with the Whip of Erebos, it does get better.
So yeah, black-green went on to win that match. The guy the green-white aggro conceded as soon as he got down to 6 life, and that's unfortunately all I got to watch.
Alright, all this silence gets cut out automatically, so...
Well, that's good.
I didn't watch any Star City coverage. I was actually just drafting Theros. I wasn't even watching Theros drafts.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much in the way of Theros drafts this weekend.
I'll probably talk about Theros draft next week. I might have a host lined up who's done a lot of drafting.
Well, that sounds exciting. So do you want to go on to the finance portion?
We're 20 minutes in and we've knocked out 2 topics. So our listeners generally like longer shows, so I guess so. If there's not much else to say about Standard, I can talk about the metagame a little bit.
All right, talk about the metagame. Talk about the metagame. I can chime in whenever I hear it.
Oh, well, I was muted when I just said all that. You have reservations about me talking about the metagame. That's definitely not unreasonable.
I don't have reservations. I just want to hear your take on it and see what I can say about it.
Message me in the chat before you say something, because I have to mute your side when I talk, because otherwise there's an echo. Alright, so the top placer in the metagame, as always, is mono red 30%, because it's a cheap alternative, being only around 90 tickets or so. This deck is pretty good, although I dislike Fire Drinker Satyr in it. Other than that, it seems fine. You got the Cacklers. What's really interesting is the Fanatic of Mogus. 3 in a red for a 4/2, and it hits your opponent equal to your devotion to red. I like that guy a lot, and I think it could see some play out, I guess, in general. You're having someone who doesn't know anything about Standard talk about it, so that's why I sound so awkward.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, whenever you type something, I'll unmute you.
Okay. I have to agree with you on this, Satyr. I don't understand why people are playing it.
My favorite deck from the metagame, this will probably be the only other deck that I go into. Today we have a lot of shows to talk about Standard, and this is just the beginning of the format. My favorite deck in the format, as with pretty much every other format in existence, is Blue-White Control. 4 Jaces, 4 Azorius Charm, 4 Verdicts, 4 Detention Spheres, 3 Revelation, 2 Syncopate, 2 Essence Scatter, 2 Aetherling, 3 Divination, 2 Ratchet Bomb, 1 Quicken, that's interesting, 1 Celestial Flare, 2 Dissolve, 2 Elspeth, 2 Cancel, 1 Memory Adept. And then the mana base is running a pretty standard mana base with 2 Mutavaults.
And you pretty much just listed off almost every single card I hate.
Oh, well, I'm a control player, and I'll probably be playing this card in real life. The only cards that I will need would be a 1-of Mutavault and the Elspeths. So I might go back to FNM for once.
Now, one thing I've noticed that is that Mutavault has been getting a lot of play in the mono red decks.
Because mono red decks only need 2 red mana to cast all of their spells, so that seems reasonable. I'm a fan.
Alright, so what deck's up next?
Well, I thought we were only going to talk about these 2, but that's fine. We can go into something else. Well, I guess, what is the playability of this blue-white control deck? I think it's fine. It just demolishes mono red. Well, as with Control has always done, because mono red is garbage. Even though I've tried to play it several times, it's just complete garbage.
I'm gonna have to argue with you there. When I first started playing, I grew up with the mono red Goblins Burn Explodey type deck. I personally think it's...
Well, that's a new player-friendly deck, and that's why you probably started with it. For a more experienced player, which is who's probably listening to our show, if they know about MTG Cast, they're probably at least somewhat more experienced and could pilot a deck to a higher caliber than Mono Red.
That's not to say that a Mono Red deck doesn't require skill in order to play.
I'm not suggesting that. I am suggesting, though, that it takes less skill than a blue-white control deck or an Esper control deck, or, for that matter, pretty much any other deck in the format.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Personally, I can't stand decks. I've got a serious hate on for permission spell decks. But that also probably stems from the most recent Fisher banning, which can be quite excited about in
Well, the
Pauper.
Storm is different than Control, and that's important to note for our listeners. Combo and Control are two different things.
Alright, you got me there. I'm still live?
Yes, I was just wondering why you weren't saying anything.
I was waiting on you.
Oh, well, what did you want me to say? You want to go into the financial impact of Theros?
Sure, why not?
I
can bring that up.
So, what do you want to be talking about the financial impact of Theros? I was thinking of what cards I think are going to go up in price, but, there are other things we could talk about with Theros. Former cards that could go up in price, like Stall for Time, while I find one. Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know. But I could find something if I had to.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that the Shocklands, at least for Magic Online, have all been dropping.
Which is very odd. Shocklands are very... They're staples, essentially, so... I don't know why they would be dropping, and that bothers me.
Well, I know one of the most popular ones has been Stomping Ground. 1 month ago, it was up at 6.7.
Okay, well, Stomping Ground is a special case. I'll let you make your case first, but...
Well, it was at 5... Theros released, it was at $5. It's now down to 3.9.
Stomping Ground is a special case, and I will make the case for why Stomping Ground should have dropped and probably will still drop.
Okay, why is that?
Alright. So, the reason that Stomping Ground will drop and probably will continually drop for the near future is Green-Red Aggro was a deck because of Flinthoof Boar. Without Flinthoof Boar, Green-Red Aggro was garbage. Domri Rade is not seeing too much play, so I'm not concerned about that. That's, I guess, pretty much your reasoning as to why it's dropped in price.
What about the Lightning Mauler?
Well, Lightning Mauler makes the Burning Tree Emissary decks hard to play, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, I think with Innistrad dropping or being rotated out and losing that might also affect why Stomping Ground has dropped.
Red-green was a good format, was a good deck style in Innistrad. We're losing a lot of green-red staples, and that also involves M14 with the Flinthoof Boar, of course.
Also noticed Breeding Pool is down, Sacred Foundry is down, Watery Grave is up.
Watery Grave, because Esper control, blue-white control, blue-black control, etc. are going to be decks in the future, and Breeding Pool saw no play anyway, so I'm certainly not surprised. What did Breeding Pool see play in? I can't think of anything. Bant control for a week?
Banned auras?
Oh, yes, Geist of Saint Trapped auras. But none of these cards are seeing too much play, and we're moving more towards a two-color format. Now, mind you, after Return to Ravnica rotates, this is going to do kind of what the fetch lands did, and get back up to their $15 to $20 peaks. Because of Modern.
Well, I think when the next set comes out in Theros, I think they're going to start spiking because I believe it was Mark Rosewater was talking about how in the initial or the big set for Theros, we had the 5 main gods come out. In the next 2 sets, we're going to be seeing friendly and enemy color pairings for the minor gods of Theros.
I did not know that, actually. So they're going to function like the gods do now? They're going to be if your devotion to 5, if your devotion to C is less than 5, to ignore the creature half of the god.
Possibly. It would make sense for them to do something like
Oh,
that.
so none of this is confirmed, it's just speculation at this point?
Speculation on their abilities. Confirmed that they are going to be coming out.
Oh, that's interesting. I've just kind of stopped looking at spoilers and information like that. I don't know why, I don't know, I get too excited about it. It's not worth getting excited over.
So, what do you think is the biggest card in Theros? Like the most expensive card in
Most
Theros
expensive
that you did
card in
not see coming card.
Theros?
That you did not see coming.
Oh, that I didn't see coming. It's a pretty easy Elspeth for the most expensive card that everyone saw coming because it's an insane magic card, even just for EDH, which is where I'm playing my copy in. I don't care about Standard. One that I didn't see coming would be Boonsatyr and Polychronos. They just don't seem like great cards, and they don't have support cards either. Remember, Polychronos is Deadbridge Goliath, and Deadbridge Goliath never broke $1. So my infinite copies of Deadbridge Goliath, because they're obviously going up in price, I'm very sad, obviously.
You have to say, I'm not terribly impressed with the World Eater as a card.
I would agree, and especially since it's in a dual deck, it can never break the $15 barrier, because you can just get the dual decks for $20. And because of the Sun Titan and some other valuables in there, it'll just never break any significant barriers for pricing.
Now, the one I'm most surprised about is the Stormbreath Dragon.
I think it's going way down. It's not the new Thundermaw.
Exactly. It's a great. I'd probably say it's much better in limited than it would be in constructed.
Thundermaw Hellkite was a very good magic card, and this is just nothing like a Thundermaw.
I think the only thing it's got going for it is that Thundermaw didn't have is the Pro White.
Okay, and what does Pro White do for it? It's not protection from removal, remember. White doesn't have much removal that's playable in Standard, like pacifism is not Standard playable, obviously.
Well, you got the new Fiend Hunter.
The new Fiend Hunter won't be played because it's not abusable with effects like Restoration Angel, which it rotated anyway, so it doesn't matter. But since the card can't be abused, it won't be played. That's generally how Standard works. If you can abuse a card, you play it. If you can't, it's useless.
Yeah, and the Pro White won't even save it from Elspeth's
right, because ability. Elspeth just wraths the board. She doesn't do anything else.
Could keep Heliod at bay.
Do you really think Heliod is going to see Standard play?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can't really see much in here that would make that relevant. So it's strictly worse than Thundermaw.
It's not strictly worse, but it's pretty bad. I would go as far as to say that it's terrible.
Terrible is a good word.
I don't know if I could say that it's the worst card in Standard, but it's pretty bad. What do you think about Boonsatyr, though? That's a card that just jumped in price out of nowhere. It saw no play, I don't believe. Did it?
I didn't see it.
I mean, it's just not great, and it spiked from 2 tickets on Moto, which is what I sold it for. The next day, it went up to $7.50. I'm not going to give you a lesson in economics from me, but...
It's sitting at $7.28 now. I think...
And it's sitting at $4.48 in paper. I have a paper copy that just has done nothing, which is unfortunate.
I think where this card gets its core value, because, you got Flash, 1 colorless, 2 green, 4/2. That pretty much passes your vanilla test, where it can actually
But
shine
cards
the fact that you can...
Cards that pass the vanilla test are not necessarily playable in Standard. Example, Deadbridge Goliath. Cards that pass the vanilla test is only there for limited, not for constructed. I've never seen a card that just passes the vanilla test do well in Standard. Bestow is, I don't know, the format seems to have speeded. The format has gotten faster. And
you think so?
That makes Bestow strictly worse. And you're not, the decks that can make the game go long, those blue-white control decks, just have no interest in bestowing, obviously.
I think where this card genuinely shines is the fact that you can bestow at flash or at instant speed.
I guess, but we had the 3-mana 3/3 with 1 and a green regenerate, and did that see any play other than in Brian Kibler's deck? For one weekend? It was from Avacyn Restored, Gnarled Mass with Flash? I don't think that saw any play. Did it?
I don't know. I didn't pay much attention to Avacyn, other than getting my Conjurer's Closets for my EDH deck.
So you actually drafted Avacyn Restored?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't either.
Now, a friend of ours, one guy at my local game shop, was trying to get as many Vexing Devils as possible and tried to get people to play Avacyn Restored. Everyone told him
Why did he want Vexing Devils? They will never go up in price. They don't even see eternal play.
He was building a black-red attrition burn type deck.
Okay. So he just wanted a playset. He wasn't trying to invest in them.
Right.
See, for me, when somebody says they're trying to get as many as they can, they're getting in the 10s, 20s, 30s, etc. They're not just getting a playset. Like, when I got 25 Assembled Legions, that was getting as many as I could because the bots wouldn't sell me more than 4, which was unfortunate, but...
Where is that now?
Assemble? I sold it a while back. I think it's sitting around 50 cents online. And in paper, a few bucks. Sorry about the loud typing noises, but I'm the host of the show. I guess I have an excuse. It's 32 cents online, and it's $2.50 in real life. Which, by the way, is awesome because that card is the best card in Standard, in my opinion. Do you not agree that it's a very good and powerful card?
Oh, it is a very powerful card. Wish I could get more for my son's Boros deck.
I have 6 in paper, so I'm sure we can work something out. I only need a play set and then 1 for my EDH deck, so maybe not actually. Well, I can trade for him. Anyway.
Yeah, you sound like a buddy of mine. He plays for collecting, gets a playset of everything, and then just trades everything else off.
Well, I don't play much in paper. I just play EDH in paper, but online I play a lot, actually. So
what EDH? What's your best EDH deck, you would say?
Best is Aurelia. My most fun is Mirke. And no, I don't abuse the untapping the creature to kill a creature. I don't abuse that, but it's just
fun. Well, that's kind of you.
It's Esper Control, what's that card? Consecrated Sphinx plus Jace Beleren is the combo of the deck, if that can be called a combo.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to face off against that.
One time I was playing against a Melek Izzet deck that just wins by Beacon of Tomorrows, essentially, with Melek copying it. He didn't run any creatures. And, oh, that was a lot of fun. So he was running a bunch of draw spells, and meanwhile, I think I had 10 cards in my library at the end of that game because I was just drawing 2, and I could have easily drawn 200 plus cards. Right. I'm not exaggerating. But this isn't EDH talk as much as I'd like it to be. What do you play in EDH? Lost Call. That could be a problem, no? Sorry, we're doing this through 2 different programs, Raid Call and Skype dropped our call. He's having issues with pretty much everything to do with the computer today. So I just asked, what is your favorite EDH deck?
My favorite that I've done so far is my Tristani.
Oh, no, you're not populating, what was that, 8/8s? You're not populating 8/8s, right?
What, the Guardian of the Grove?
Yep.
No. I'm not even using her for her populate. I'm doing it for a life gain deck. Win con on Felidar Sovereign or Test of Endurance.
I actually just lost respect for you. And I'm sure the listeners did too. People should not be playing Test of Endurance in EDH because you start at 40 life. Okay, I really shouldn't be talking. I play Serra Ascendant in all of my EDH decks that involve white. Turn 1, 6/6 flying lifelink. GG. That angers so many people.
Well, that's what I got in paper. Online, I actually have a 5-color ATOG deck.
Oh, you play EDH online?
I do.
I do not, because that's just investing in dual collections, and at that point, I have a $500 EDH deck or whatever it would be in real life. I'm not going to spend another $500 online.
Well, I can't blame you for that.
And the liquidity of the market online does give it an advantage, but it also means that cards can jump or drop all of the sudden.
Yeah, see, I think my 5-color ATOG, I spent a total of maybe $6 building it.
I didn't spend any money on my deck. I just traded for a bunch of cards. What's ATOG is your general? Psychotog? Oh no, 5-color. Child of Alara.
No, ATOG.
ATOG? Oh boy, I have to look this one up. ATOG Odyssey. Let me guess it's Sack and ATOG. Sack and ATOG creature, ATOG gets +X+. That's awesome.
The funniest part about that deck is the only ATOG in the deck.
Why don't you just play Child of Alara then?
No, because I felt like doing something different. I've got him in the deck, and all my creatures are changelings.
Oh, so you do have a bunch of ATOGs in the deck.
Not technically.
Changelings are all creature types at all times, including outside of the game.
Yep.
So therefore, you do have a bunch of ATOGs.
I guess. So I can tutor for them. I can. There's a couple of equipments that attach to warriors and attach to rogues to make them more powerful as soon as they come into the battlefield.
I've not heard of that. Do you play the Sword of the Meek combo?
No, I do not have a Sword of the Meek.
You do not have a $2 card. That's unfortunate. I don't play it either in my Mirke deck, but I know a lot of people are a huge fan of that combo, which they're wrong, but it's a fun combo.
All right, so one of them is the Obsidian Battle Axe. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has haste. Whenever warrior creature comes into play, attach the Battle Axe to it. So I drop a changeling down, it automatically gets that attached to it, and then I can use that buff up to sack it to Mr. Captain ATOG and walk in for a lot of damage.
ATOG. What a name. I wish wizards would make good jokes in their cards nowadays. We should start a campaign to start Unhinged 3.
That would be fun.
I have an Unhinged 3 set that I should probably show people at some point. Maybe? I don't know. But I have a set built. Maybe I'll work on finishing it all off in the coming week or so and post it somewhere. I'll have to email Dan about that later.
Oh, he would love that.
That was a lot of fun building. I actually did finish my NES set that I was talking about forever on the show, and we did 1 card a week, and then we forgot about that for 2.5 months, and that was unfortunate. But I have that all built. I'll post that somewhere at some point. I'll keep you posted on the details. I have to keep it interesting here by making random sets that mean nothing to anyone. So we've spiraled out of control about Theros' financial value. And we went from EDH...
directly into an extended EDH conversation.
Exactly. And then we're talking about Unhinged, Unglued, and Uncompleted, since I have a few cards I have to design.
Unhinged, Unglued, Undone.
Well, Undone and Uncompleted are the same thing.
Yeah, but Uncompleted just takes too long to say.
Oh, come on. So we should move into Standard Pauper. We both had articles published today about Standard Pauper, and I'm going to make you read both of them. They're on mtgostrat.com. You can find them there, and I would recommend you read both of them because we're going to assume that you did for the purposes of this conversation. I do have one complaint. I know Dan's probably not going to listen to the show, but when we're talking about Standard Pauper and he puts pictures of the gods next to my article, which are mythic rares, come on.
Yeah, even though I'll admit I am the site editor, I had nothing to do with that.
Well, I'll blame you anyway, actually.
Okay, what do you want it to look like?
Something that's at least relating to commons.
I'm going to do some on-air editing.
No, because then we can't make Dan look bad when they go to the site. Don't change it.
All right, I'll leave it.
All right, good.
Well, he'll just blame being drunk anyways.
That's probably true, actually.
All right, so do you want to take a look at yours first or mine?
Well, we're just going to talk about Standard Pauper, assuming they read the articles. So you wrote about Mono Black, and just give us the deck list.
All right, let me get the deck list. Oh yeah, my Mono Black based on my current favorite card that I'm in love with, and that's the Grey Merchant.
That is a very good Magic card.
I love the fact that it's Bloodhunter Bat, and I loved Bloodhunter Bat in standard Pauper for kind of a mono black control deck. But the fact that the Grey Merchant scales makes it even better.
Exactly, and it's each opponent for those of you who are playing Two-Headed Giant Standard Pauper, unlike myself.
All right, so yeah, the deck list without sideboard: 4 Grey Merchant, 4 Deathcult Rogue, 2 Rakdos Shred Freak, 3 Deathgaze Cockatrice, 3 Perilous Shadow, and 4 Returned Phalanx, the creature base. The Phalanx being the only one that does not have double black in its cost.
All right. And I did play against this deck yesterday with my black-white list, which was not in any of the articles, so we'll probably talk about that in a little bit. But I really did like the Rakdos Shred Freaks. And, for that matter, the Deathcult Rogues just for the Devotion.
Yeah, the Devotion can't be blocked except by Rogues. I think somewhere in my article I actually addressed that. How many Rogues are in the meta right now?
I don't remember the number, but it was in there. Probably scrolling. 5, and the playable ones I can't think of anymore.
16, including himself.
Okay, and how many playable ones? Himself?
I didn't go that far.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And so, yeah, beyond the creatures, we've got 3 Sinister Possession, 3 Quag Sickness.
Sinister Possession is the new thing that gives a creature -1/-1, and its activated abilities can't be activated?
No, that's Viper's Kiss. Sinister Possession is an enchantment that whenever a creature attacks or blocks, its controller loses 2 life.
I knew that. I knew it was an unplayable limited card. I actually have a story about that I will save for another show, but it was pretty funny.
I actually, in playing this, I was playing against the deck last night, and he was running, I think it was Esper Control, and he pacifismed one of my creatures. So I had Sinister Possession sitting in my hand, and he was not playing any creatures whatsoever. So I tossed it down on my pacified guy, just so I could get the Devotion count up.
That is something that you will probably never see happen again. But it's good
Probably
that your
not.
deck has plays like that would take skill and reward the skilled player.
I think, okay, so I've got also 2 Read the Bones, 2 Farika's Cure, and the champion of all the spells is Stab Wound.
I agree with you completely. Stab Wound is very good in this format. Very, very good in the format. It's a kill condition and a kill spell. And that's always
Kill
nice.
condition, kill spell, and it gets, it nerfs anything that has a higher than 3 toughness. Especially those stupid gatekeepers.
Right. I saw a new version of Flickergate without the flicker, and it was terrible. I didn't want to play against it at all, but I lost to it. That was my second loss with the deck, other than when you demolished me with it.
So you found a flickerless Flickergate deck.
Yes, Flickerless Flickergate. It's essentially the deck without flickers and with more kill spells, and slightly more annoying.
So you do realize we now have to edit the show to remove that part so Dan never finds out about this.
No, I actually told him that there's a new Flickergate list. Yeah, I'm fine if he plays Flickergate. I am going to play the deck that beats Flickergate, like Mono Blue Flyers. I've lost 1 match to Flickergate out of 5 or 10. And that was probably due to mana problems, I don't remember. So... Oh, I hope he doesn't play Flickergate. It's not fun to play against, but he said it looked pretty terrible. So that's a good sign, right?
That is a good sign. All right, and so yeah, that was to sum up my Devotion to Black article. Let's jump over to yours because you have a lot more in the way of.
I have the entire metagame sorted out because I have to make a splash with my first article. So if you want to hear me talk about the metagame, you can read that. But green-red and black-white are the two decks that I'm a big fan of, and the mono-black deck that you made, which I didn't write about because you told me after I wrote it, which was a good move because I would have just wrote pretty much the same thing you did about it. But green-red, I didn't write about that. I'll probably write about good multicolored decks at some point, but
What would be the first one you would write about for multicolored?
well, I would write about multiple in one article, but I like black-white and green-red and possibly blue-white or blue-black, depending how good Extort is in the format. I really like the mono-white aggro list. I've got a little bit of chance to test it with some cards that I don't have all of the Theros cards, mainly because someone offered me 2 cents per common for Theros, so I unloaded all of my Theros commons.
Well, they got a good deal out of that.
They got a good deal out of that?
Well, it depends upon what commons were going out, because I know...
I didn't give away Read the Bones, Grey Merchants, or the new terrible Lightning Bolt. What's it called?
Lightning Strike.
Lightning Strike. It was a pretty terrible deal for him.
Okay, I thought that you were giving away like Read the Bones and Grey Merchants.
No, Read the Bones is 30 cents at this point.
Read the Bones is up to 30 cents?
I didn't buy any because of that. I went to GoatBots and it was 30 cents, and I said, I'll just run with the 2 and I'll draft again. And I didn't even draft black in that draft, so I'll have to draft some more.
Yeah, I got Read the Bones at 25 cents.
Well, that's fair. I don't know if it was worth buying, but that's just me.
No, I'm saying that's what it's at right now.
Oh, okay.
And Grey Merchants are at 10 cents.
I bought my Grey Merchants for 7 cents.
What are the other really big commons?
I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe the Vaporkin, because it's a replacement for our other friend there.
The Welkin we were talking about?
Welkin turn, definitely. There's not many good commons. Like I said about Theros, there aren't many good rares either, for that matter.
Yeah, no, Vaporkin is a 2-cent card.
So there's no other real money commons, that's ironic, isn't it? I mean, by the time drafting is in full swing, everything is going to be worthless.
Well, when you're talking about the newer sets,
there's no money commons in newer sets. I know there's exceptions, like Cloud of Fairies.
Cloud of Fairies, Armadillo Cloak. Rancor's actually dropped. What is
Rancor?
No, Rancor's at 34 cents now.
Really? It was a ticket all of last year.
Great time to buy up.
I'm actually going to, right when we finish this, buy a bunch of Rancors, and I'll blame you if they don't go up. At least I have a scapegoat for these things.
Ooh, Academy's prices went up. They're now 85 cents. They were 34 yesterday.
I don't use MTGO Academy. I go to MTGO Wiki price and go from there.
Down to 25 cents.
On Wiki price?
No, I'll message you the site so I don't give it away.
Well, you can give the site away. I don't mind.
All right.
By the time this show goes up, I will probably have 100+ Rancors. So.
MTGO Traders is sitting at 25 cents a piece.
Everybody's least favorite.
I find they have interesting sets of...
See, I have a bunch of credit to them, so I'll just buy some Rancors with my credit. Maybe put a few tickets into it. I don't know. I have to think about it.
I think my biggest annoyance with the classic Pauper market was myself and Alex Ullman, Nerd to the Core, on Twitter and Facebook, both wrote hexproof articles back to back. I think mine released on a Wednesday, his released on a Thursday. On Friday, Ancestral Mask went from a 4.5 to 5 ticket card up to, it's now sitting at 980.
How many? This is on MTGO Strat?
I wrote on MTGO Strat. He wrote directly to his Facebook.
Really? That's odd, because looking at they have the people, how many people read the article posted on MTGO Strat, all of their articles. That's odd that small of a number of people could raise the price so much.
I think it also got featured on the Wizards daily deck list.
Oh, okay. Well, that can spike a price, because that actually has a large following, obviously, because it's Wizards.
Yeah, it's head office or the mothership.
Who? Head officer at the mothership?
Well, a lot of people I know have called it the mothership.
I've called it the mothership too, but who's head officer?
I said head office, not officer.
Oh, head office. Oh, okay.
Blame my lisp.
I probably will. I'll probably just blame you in general, but...
I told you before, I'm good with that.
All right, that's fine. I have a lot of things to blame on you then. Even if you had nothing to do with the problem, you're still going to be blamed.
Okay, getting a little personal, I was married for 10 years. Everything was my fault.
Oh, boy. Well, that's probably true for most people. I have no experience with that, but...
So you can blame me all you want. I'm used to it.
All right, that works. It's good. I always need someone to blame. And I'm sick of blaming people I don't know.
So we got together. We had Standard Pauper, Finance, Impact, my PreRelease. We're on a tangent about Commander, and... Wow, we've been productive.
We've actually been very productive, staying on topic for probably 15 minutes.
We can be happy with that.
Indeed we can. 15 minutes of staying on topic, that's better than I usually do. We usually just ramble on about whatever suits us on this show. All right, well, any final thoughts, ways to contact you?
Well, again, ways to contact me. I said at the beginning of the show, you can find me on Twitter at Master Greystone, Grey.
You spell it wrong.
I spell it Canadian.
Okay, you spell it Canadian. Okay, well, in this case, you spell it Canadian means you spell it wrong.
You can also find me writing on mtgostrat.com. Same place where Jason got his debut today in writing on MTGO Strat.
No, I've written for other sites before.
I was showcasing your debut on MTGO Strat.
Oh, okay. Well, I've written for Card Shark before, which makes me slightly less of a nobody.
Well, I know adding you to the crew of writers is going to help shoot us all into stardom.
That's probably not true. There's a really slight chance that that's not true.
Alright, so yeah, Twitter, MTGO Strat. I also produce videos that can be found on Magic Gathering Strat YouTube channel.
Why doesn't he put a "the" in there? That's what's always bothered me.
I don't know.
It makes it sound, I don't know, like a child is saying it in some ways.
Maybe it was too long.
That's true. I thought, I guess, I don't know, I've never had to make a YouTube username, so...
Yeah, no, the account I made only had 8 characters, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Wow. With 8 character accounts, they'll run out eventually. We've really fallen off topic.
Yep. So, okay, I address Twitter, website, YouTube. Occasionally, I'll drop onto the paupertothepeople.proboards.com forums.
I really need to start posting there.
And you can find me on there as Greystone, and you can find me on MTGO, probably the most important one, as Greystone.
Well, that's pretty easy to remember. I have different usernames across the board, so...
All right, and how can we get a hold of you, Jason?
Many different ways. I am Jason the Mind Sculptor on Magic Online, along with various other accounts that, well, don't matter to most people. so I won't go into them. You can also find me. Well, I guess you can find the show on Twitter, not me. I hate Twitter. I wish it would go away. At jam_podcast1, which the name was created by Chewy because, well, MTGcast memes that you all should probably get.
So was that podcast number 1 or podcast 1? All one word?
No number sign, just 1.
Podcast 1. Okay.
And what else? Email anothermagicpodcast@gmail.com. I think that's about all. I'm probably forgetting something. I do every week.
Oh no, sounds about the same as last week.
Well, I hadn't done a podcast for 2 months from last week, so. You can write in the comments section of MTGcast. We never get comments there, which is good because for all the mail we get with nasty comments, I'd rather not it be published. So.
Oh, you should turn that into an article segment.
I probably should, but I'm sure the people don't want their names to be known by everybody.
Oh, so make it anonymous. There's nothing more fun than heckling an anonymous writer.
That's true. Well, now they would know who I was because you just said that.
Oops.
Indeed. So that's not happening anytime soon. We have way too much fun on this show. I guess that's about it. So we will be back at another time. Oh, also twitch.tv/justanothermagicpodcast. I stream a lot. We'll stream some Theros draft. We'll probably stream some standard Pauper testing. We'll probably also be streaming top 8 of the Hipsters of the Coast Pauper event. Very excited to be there in the top 8. Very happy to be there. Definitely did absolutely no testing with the Mono Blue Flyers deck. I played one MPDC standard Pauper event, and that was it before I entered this event. I guess shout-outs to anybody who...
There's actually one I want to address. I believe he's still running it. And J Siri is running a Child's Play benefit.
I heard about this.
You heard about that? It's on.
See,
I
could pledge all of my daily winnings because I don't play dailies, so that wouldn't help much.
Well, you don't just have to donate daily winnings. There are a couple people that have made pledges like that. I know MTGO Traders, by donating, Just Sin donated 150. We got various other anonymous donators. And they're currently at... Oh, it's already ended. Well then.
It's already ended.
It ended October 3rd. They made $1,103 towards Child's Play.
I remember last year hearing about that charity at a Zeldathon. And for those of you wondering what Zeldathon is, you should look it up. It's awesome for those of you who have ever played a video game in your life. Even though I don't have time to watch it anymore because magic is a thing.
Magic the addiction.
I guess you could call it that, sure. Magic does take up a lot of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I think that's my shout out. And anything else?
I think that's about a wrap for the show, so thank you for being on this week, and next week we have an exciting guest lined up. Well, I guess exciting as in the first listener guest other than yourself. Trying to think of anything else to say, I guess not, so thank you all very much for listening, and well, I'm not going to steal Chewy's MTG cast Monday Night Magic ending, so thank you all very much for listening. We'll be back next week.